Hej och välkomna till vårt webbseminarium om så lyckas du med din första mobil eller webbapp. Mitt namn är Mojad. Jag jobbar som IT-chef på Omania. Jag är här tillsammans med vårt vd Simon Järström.
Hallå allihopa, Simon Järström här. Det ska bli väldigt roligt att spendera de nästkommande 45 minuterna tillsammans med er. Väldigt roligt att se att så många utav er är här. Vi har ett fullspäckat schema framför oss där vi har bjudit in företagsledare från 3 stycken olika mjukvaruföretag som är här för att ge sin information om allt från utvecklingsfasens första steg till att implementera AI i ditt system. Innan vi sätter igång så har vi tänkt att ge ett snabbt ansikte på våra deltagande gäster. Först ut är vd för företaget Pixinn. Marius, would you mind raising your voice and introducing yourself?
Yes, hey everyone, I'm Marius Trajauskas, Chief Executive Officer at Pixinn. I mostly work with business and startups problem solving using innovative software solutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Marius. Now we are moving over to Techronus and Hardik in India. Please introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, Hardik, Head of Sales from Techronus. We basically deal in developing web and mobility solutions for startups, SMEs, and enterprise-level customers with their ideas to transform them into the market.
Thank you so much, Hardik. Beautiful. Now, lastly, we will say hello to Dovydas, the Business Development Manager at Confistech in Kaunas, Lithuania. Would you join and say hello?
Hi everyone, so I'm Dovydas. I'm a business development manager for Confistech. I mostly deal with clients, project estimations and so on. Thank you.
Ja, så syftet med detta webbinar är att ge deltagarna en djup förståelse för processen att skapa en mobil applikation. Eller webben såklart. Vi vill utrusta er med verktygen och insikter som behövs för framgångsrikt navigera i denna utmanande process. Denna webbinarium kommer täcka viktiga ämnen såsom förberedelser för ditt första möte med utvecklare, strategier för effektiv kodning och minimum valuable product, även kallas för MVP. Hur väljer man mellan mobil eller webbapp? Och dessutom kommer vi ta upp AI-integration i ditt projekt. Du kan förvänta dig information som gör dig redo för ditt nästkommande projekt. Under webbinariums gång kommer vi dyka upp några frågor, så får du jättegärna ställa dem i chatten. Vi kommer ha 4 presentationer och efter att vi har gått igenom alla 4 presentationer kommer vi svara på era frågor. Vårt mål är att ge dig som deltagare det du behöver för din första webb- eller mobilapp. Innan vi går vidare till dagens ämne tänker vi ge våra kära gäster 2 minuter att presentera sitt företag. And now, Marius, you have 2 minutes to present Pixinn for us. You have the words.
Okay, our company, Pixinn, is a Lithuanian-based IT company. Our team is passionate about helping business and startups to scale by building innovative web and app solutions or solving their problems using open source software, which is best fit for them. Now, we specialize in mobile app and websites, platforms, Internet of Things solutions, and also big data analytics and business consulting on solving their problems. And we primarily work with React, JavaScript, and React Native technologies, the ones that are mostly used by startups. And our customers are mostly manufacturing companies and startups. We have 2 really great success stories. 2 startups raised like 3 million euros last year, and we did it as a team with them. And we love challenges, solving problems, and sharing our knowledge with others and everyone. So that's why we are here. So thank you.
Thank you, Marius. And now it's time to present Techronus for us. Please, Hardik, can you present Techronus for us?
Yeah, hello everyone again. So Techronus is basically an IT-based company. We specialize in providing web and mobility solutions for all the segment of customers, that is for startups, for developing their MVPs, and to develop them into full-fledged project for them. For SMEs and enterprise level customers also, we are helping them to develop the low-cost and scalable application that is whether it is for desktop or for mobile or for web also. So we have specialized in 3 kind of segment. That is, one is called Microsoft Dynamics, in that we help the customer for their CRM and ERP solutions. With that also, we have a good team of Power BI and Power Automate. In open source side, we have a good team of full stack developers helping our customers to develop their SaaS-based products as well as their MVP products to bring the ideas into the market with limited budget and time frame. We also have a good strength for designing team as well as a mobile application development team, which has helped many startups in Europe and USA to develop their sports-based application, betting-based application, then a food delivery-based application, food-based application, and many more. So yeah, that's it from Techronus.
Thank you, Hardik. Thank you, Hardik. And now we go to Dovidas. Could you introduce Confistech for us?
Sure. So we are Confistech, right? We are a Lithuanian-based software development company, started by 2 senior developers, Lucas and Paulius. So by now we've successfully built a team of engineers around Paulius and Lucas' experience and the technical skill set. So we are good. We specialize in creating web, mobile apps, also some enterprise solutions like ERP, CRM. Next to that, we can also work with most scanning, tracking, measuring hardware, most things that have an API, right, to help you capture, store, and manage any kind of process-related data. We also have a lot of experience with MVP projects, so not just external ones. We have a startup of our own called Any Moment, a calendar-based app. We developed an MVP for that. Of course, from time to time, we have cases where we have to work with existing code, take over ongoing projects, right? So although we prefer to start fresh, but we can adapt to most situations. So we choose the tech that we work with for scalability and efficiency to be able to facilitate growth and SEO competitiveness, since I know these are some of the major concerns for products of this kind. I won't get into too many technical details, but we mostly work with .NET and JavaScript related technologies. So React, React Native for mobile, of course, Angular, Node, and some others. We use AWS, so Amazon services for any cloud needs, and we use the industry standard of Jira and Trello for communication and for project management. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And now for the last presentation of our company today, Simon, could you please present Omania for us?
Det ska jag göra. Omania grundade vi 2020. Vi är en IT-leverantör i Borlänge som är dedikerad att arbeta hand i hand med våra globala mjukvaruleverantörer för att fokusera på att maximera värdet utav din IT-investering. Vi tar ägande över hela processen, från att översätta era affärsmässiga behov, övervaka utvecklingsprocessen, upprätthålla sträng kvalitetskontroll och säkerställa juridisk trygghet i ditt projekt. Vi är länken mellan dig och alla andra IT-företag runt om i världen och arbetar på din sida för att göra ditt projekt precis så bra som du har drömt om. På Omania samlar vi teknisk kompetens från världens alla länder och tillgängliggör den för dig under vårt tak.
Men precis. Tack Simon. Nu går vi vidare till vår första presentation. Vi kommer totalt ha 4 presentationer. Varje en av dem kommer hållas i 5 minuter. Första ämnet kommer handla om förberedelser inför ditt första möte med utvecklare. Ämnet kommer presenteras av Pixinn. Och glöm inte, har du frågor får du gärna se dem i chatten. Vi kommer gå igenom dem efter alla presentationer. So Marius, it's your time to share your experiences about how to prepare for first meeting with developer. Please take the stage.
Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, so my topic is preparing your first meeting with developers. Well, at first, before any preparations and talking with developers, you need to know the basics, how the project can be successful. So, well, keys to successful IT project. Well, you have to have a goal of the project. A good goal example is like, I want to scale and do sales online. That's why I want to do an e-shop. But if, for example, like a competitor has an e-shop and I want the same, it's not a good goal for you. You need to have a specific. Also, project analysis. Well, for a successful project, you need to know what needs to be done, and all the developers also need to do that. So you need to analyze what are your requirements and just write it down at least. And after that, a really good point also, before building anything, you need to scan the market for existing solution, because there's most of the times existing solution which you don't need to build and you can just use it as it is based on your requirements. Also, picking the right developers to work with is the most important part, because if you don't have a good communication with developers, your project might not be so successful at all. And also planning the right budget, not too small, not too big, just the right one for the project. Well, no one is telling you the failures of IT projects, but I thought that it would be beneficial to mention it. Well, the first one is like lack of involvement. If you want to your software being built, you need to communicate to developers in all phases of the project. Because if you just say, just build me something, and the outcome will not be perfect or the one you want. Also, no project specification. It's building software is the same as building a house. If you build a house without any paperwork done before, it will probably not be so good at all. I mean, it will not be the house you want to live in. Also, miscommunication with developers. It's most of the time happens when the team and developers does not know the requirements correctly. So you need to be sure you're understanding developers and they understanding you in the right way. And also having too ambitious goals with too limited resources. For example, you want to build Facebook with a low budget, it will end up not really great. So you need to be more realistic on what you're aiming for based on your resource. And also timing. If it's too tight schedule, you will have a lot of bugs if the developers will have to do it too fast. So you need to do it in the right way, not too fast or too slow. And also too many changes during development is also a big issue, because if you for example, you built a house and you want to, after it's being built, you want the elevator built in it, so it's not going to happen in an easy way. So it's the same with software. You need to think about most of the cases before development. So, okay, how to start? Also, find the right goal, why you need this project. After you have a goal, then gather all the required information, because it's the most important part. You need to discuss with colleagues and start with overview, and then dive into specifics when you have all the detailed requirements of these, your goals and your idea. Then search for the market for existing solution. If there is none, then you need to find maybe UI UX designer who could make you a design. And with this kind of preparations, you're good to go to talk with developers, because then you could have a better result as you know what the outcome should be, and they will understand you better. So I thought that would be interesting to talk about few failure and success stories. So there's one failure story, for example, one of our customer ordered an app to order a beer in a pub. So actually they didn't know research, and what was the result? We built them an app, and only the owner friend used it. Everyone else don't want to use their phones while they're in a pub. So always do a research before doing a project, or it will be a waste of money. And one of success story, for example, we had a customer Preventa. They were a dental crowns manufacturing company. They wanted a website with online payments, warehouse management system, and a lot so more. But after a few meetings, we figured out that they have accounting software, which has almost all of these features they needed. So what they needed, actually, this easy way for a customer to submit an order. And after discussions, their initial cost dropped by 30% to their initial cost amount. So they're saved like 3 times money based on that. So that's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marius. Now let's move on to our next presentation about the purpose of building MVP, which will be presented by Confistech. Dovidas, please take the mic.
So can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
All right, that's great. So before I really get into the slides, I would like to say what I think an MVP should and shouldn't be, right? So MVP, or minimum viable product, is a product with only the essential features, the bare minimum, right? For example, a service app an app for booking services, right? That allows you to book the service and pay for it, right? And no more, no less. That is it. I often see that the main and sometimes sole purpose of a product at such stage is to showcase to investors, and that's kind of unfortunate. Of course, showcasing to investors is important, but in my opinion, a product at this stage should be more than just a projection or a model of what you envision it to be in the future. So an MVP should be the first materialization of your idea, but it should also be ready for its first set of real users, right? After I impress my investors with MVP, I surely don't want to go back to them and try to justify a budget for a whole new platform, right? Because the first one, the one I showcased, was just a model, not ready to function in real life, or one that breaks down from a slight increase in traffic. So a functioning and scalable MVP is going to be something that I'll advocate for today, and I'll expand on these points further in the presentation. So let's take an example of one of the key decisions you need to make before developing an MVP, and see what role your audience plays in making such a decision. So what type of platform will you use, web or mobile, right? That's a common question. My advice would be, in this case and in many others, to ask your audience. So maybe not directly, although you could do a poll, but if you know them well enough already, and you should, at some point, you can probably tell which one they prefer, because you know their habits and so on. So what do they use to communicate? How do they access their daily news and other information? You might want to go for both, so web and mobile right away, but take into consideration that also costs money that and time that could be spent on additional functionality, integrations. If you're in control of your own budget, maybe even marketing or something else. Then MVPs are more about needs than wants, right? So minimum. So make sure that your platform, the platform that you choose, is actually what you need, right? There are also other things to consider, like the purpose of the platform, let's say e-commerce versus a social app. But generally, looking to your audience for answers in many of these situations is a very good idea, because these will be the people that are going to be using your product. Let me just switch to the next one. So this is where I'm going to expand on what I've talked about in the beginning, right? So your MVP in itself is a tool, and at this stage of your story, you want this tool to be helping you to move forward, right? If you create an MVP that has your key functionalities, allows your early developers and others to go through the full user experience, right? You will create some traffic and you will manage to generate data. And I can't stress enough how valuable this data is. It's very hard to simulate or obtain in any other way, right? And it will not only enable you to get more applicable market insight, but it will help you make steady and focused iterations to your project, right? So moving forward bit by bit, but at least steadily. Then an MVP serves its purpose if it is ready to start, right? You've presented it to the investors, they liked it, the market conditions are right, but your product is not ready to go live. You don't want that. We've seen situations where a product is considered to be almost ready, almost. And for one of the many possible reasons, the development has been halted, assuming that it would not take too much time and effort to actually finish. Right now, unless you are an experienced developer familiar with both the product and the code, I would advise against basing your decisions on such assumptions, right? Because that can lead to a lot of frustration, extra cost, and most importantly, probably loss of opportunity, not being able to deploy and take the chance when you need to. So in short, your MVP is not an MVP until it is finished and it is ready to go. Now, a common reason why a product never sees daylight or is delayed are budgetary issues. And one of the ways to help yourself avoid that is to emphasize the minimum in MVP. So only going for features that work well, are essential to your business idea. This can help you get past the finish line on time and within budget. So it will also help you make sure that whenever there is whatever is there is fully functioning, right? and will leave a solid impression on the early adopters and others. So besides that, you want your early adopters to find a fully functioning, even if minimalistic platform, containing ready-to-use features only. So that connects to what I said previously, right? You want to generate that useful data, and get the feedback that you can build on. This will help you at that as well. So you can still be ambitious about your product and the many features that you want it to have, right? And it is actually a good idea to discuss these future functionalities with your developers, right? So they can make sure that the infrastructure and the code is ready to facilitate all those future additions, right? We and as the company and me myself could tell you more about this, but unfortunately we're short on time. So I thank you for your attention.
Great stuff, Dovidas. Thank you so much. Everybody, please remember, do you have questions? Put them in the chat. Now it's time again for Marius to enter the stage and talk about the choice between either a mobile or a web-based application. So welcome, Marius, and let's enjoy.
Okay, share my screen. So, okay, the main question is always, which to choose, mobile or web app? Unfortunately, there's no good answers to that, but I tried to do my best and compare both of these solutions from advantages and disadvantages side. Well, actually, how app and web compares. Well, app most beneficial thing is a push messages, because you can send a push message to all your app users at the same time, unless they're disabled your push message. So if you are not too annoyed, you are sending push messages not too often. They're a good way to do marketing. Well, actually, UI UX is more native on mobile application than on the website, and also performance is way better. But websites are way easier to build, easier to do the changes, because you don't need to wait for submission to App Store. Apps are really requires a higher budget, because there needs to be a lot of bureaucracy through Apple and Google Play Store needs to be done until your app is released. Also, there's less developers on apps than on websites. So both products has disadvantages, but you really need to check which is your requirements is needed, your target audience, your goal, and based on that do your selection. Also about the website. So, well, for web, it's really cross-platform compatibility makes it easier for everyone to do, and most people are choosing the website because they can be open from any location. But also they need more design done, because mobile and web design also needs to be done, and performance is way lower than compared to an app. Apps are usually faster because they run on your native devices, and also more developers is there to build you on websites. So this is our simple advantages, disadvantages. But now let's see what types of websites there are for you to choose, and how you could choose based on your requirements. So, well, there are simple HTML template websites and builders where you can just drag and drop your whole website design. It's good for simple representative websites. So if you need something simple and information doesn't change often, you should choose this type of web. And also most of the other websites are mostly built on WordPress. It's most popular web building platform on the world at the moment. They are good for smaller representative websites and small e-commerce products, up to 2,000 products. After that, it becomes laggy. So if you want something more you can control, you should choose WordPress. Also, if you want to e-commerce, then you should check, if you have not many products, you should check WordPress. But if you have much more, you should check PrestaShop, Shopify, or any bigger platform based on your needs. So it also depends on what goods you are selling and what are the requirements. And also there are platform business management systems which are built from scratch with any software you choose. So they're unlimited with features, and they cost way more than these other websites from templates. And also about app types, well, there are mostly two types of apps, the native ones and the hybrid apps. So native apps are the ones that are built using Java or Swift. It was done lately some time before, because you have to build two apps, one for Google Play, Google Play, another for Apple App Store, and now, which is more popular, hybrid apps, React Native, Flutter technologies, where you need to build one app and you can submit it to both app stores. So the cost is twice as low, but yeah, there's a drawback, a bit lower performance there. So, okay, what is trending? What are people building based on the web or app solutions? Well, actually, there's a big trend on building an app just for as a representative type. It's really good for SEO purposes and others, and you can reach your audience by push messages, so it's being popular. Also, e-commerce websites always were popular, and everyone wants to have their own e-shop and start their own businesses too. So people are really building e-commerce websites all over place. And platforms and startups, they nowadays they started. Everyone has his brilliant idea, which they want to become a second Facebook, and they are building the systems to improve and do. So many people are building it, but they require quite a bigger budget, good idea, and performance and team. So it's quite complicated to do so. But if you need that, you need to start working on it. And also, which is a really popular tool, is apps that replace physical loyalty cards. Every providers now trying to get rid of these cards in your wallets that just take place and not useful. So they're building an apps for like QR code, you scan it, and that's for it. You have everything in your phone. So why need to carry anything that's left over? And then marketing apps. Well, apps with push marketing messages, because you can reach all your audience. Like Facebook ads, you have to pay a large amount of money to reach your audience on. And if you have an app, you can reach all your customers at once, unless they block your notifications. So if you are not too annoying, it's good to go there. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Beautiful, Marius. Thank you so much for that as well. Now we will head over to the last presentation for this webinar. It will be the topic will be AI and the integration of ChatGPT in your system. Hardik from Techronus will be the presenter, so I welcome him up, and let's enjoy.
Thank you, Simon. Let me know when you are able to see my screen. Hello.
Yes, we can see it.
Great. So I would like to share some glimpse of how AI and ML and ChatGPT right now is helping all the industries to transform their businesses to effectively get the output of the results they want. So before I come to that point, let me just give you information about what is AI. So AI and ML is basically referred as artificial intelligence. AI is basically just nothing but a development of computer system capable of performing tasks that is typically required for human intelligence. On the other hand, machine learning is nothing but the subset of AI that focuses more on algorithm part, less statistical more, then allow the computer to research those data, and based on that they can predict like what will be the next step that we need to take based on the data that we have fed into the system. So let me give you an example for that, how the AI and ML is used in the industry for helping them to get the output they want. Let's take an example with healthcare. Like in healthcare industry, AI and ML has advanced a lot. Like with the help of AI, we can predict the cancer cells before it shows in the patients. We can, with the help of AI and ML, we can predict new drugs for treatment of very difficult diseases like diabetes or cancers, different kind of cancer. In manufacturing industry also, it plays a vital role. Like with the help of AI and ML, they can analyze the sensors and data that can predict the defects in the production of any material that they are doing. And with the help of that, they can real-time check like what is the problem, and then based on that, they can take the next step, which helps them to improve the production of the product, plus also increase the revenue. Same goes for the finance industry also. Like with the help of AI and ML, they can predict the frauds going on in the credit card transactions based on the financial transaction taking place. So this is how these are the couple of industries I would like to say. There are other industries also that in which they are helping. Like there are a couple of you can say online applications available which are using the AI ML algorithms to in which you just need to write the couple of sentences, and based on your words, they can transform your sentence into a picture. So that's how the AI/ML has gone into the market and has reached in each and every industries. Like I right now, in the next step, I would like to say more about the ChatGPT, which is going trending in the market. Like everybody knows, like in the November when it was released in November 2022, it was released, like everybody wants to try this ChatGPT. So what is ChatGPT? ChatGPT is nothing but model-driven, or you can say data processing languages chatbot, which gives you the answer based on the questions fired by the customer. So let's say, for example, if you want to know, like if you, let's say, example of an e-commerce industry, like you have one e-commerce website and customer comes to your website and you have built one chatbot application with the help of this OpenAI. And so what they can do is that they can help the customer when they visit the website, they can help the customer to pay based on their text. Like when a customer comes to your website and he wants to know like what is the recommendation for shoes, so they can write like, can you please recommend the shoes for my hiking? And based on their you can say queries, the chatbot will analyze like what is the need of the person, and based on that they will suggest a couple of pictures and the information about the shoes that they can try for their hiking. Same way, based on the answer provided by the customer, they will train themselves. So in the future, if any person asks similar type of questions, they can answer them in much better way. So chatbot applications are right now everywhere in the market. Like everybody wants to try the chatbot to reduce the amount of, we can say, time to give the answer to the questions that has been asked by the customer. So we have built a couple of chatbot applications for our end customers, like that I want to showcase you in this next slide. So this is one chatbot application that we have developed for social media application. So this is basically nothing, but this focus is on the social media applications who have their own business accounts. Like, let's say, for example, I have an business profile of bakery. Like I own a business account of bakery in Instagram, and there are a couple of users who look into my picture that I post in my Instagram, and they now want to see like where is the location of the bakery, like what are the products that I'm selling. So they just need to go to the business profile, and there they can write the message like, hi Hardik, like what kind of product do you sell? And this chatbot will answer them like the way the questions have been asked. Like you can also, in that also, there is one interesting thing is that you can tone the voice of the chatbot, like in which you want them to present. Like, do you want them to present in helpful manner, to joyful manner, spiritual manner? So there are lots of things you can do, and the use of this AI/ML. Plus, there are other factors also which you can keep in the chatbot application. Like if someone is trying to ask you some drugs about suicide, then that this chatbot, we can train this chatbot in such a way that they, instead of telling them the drugs, they will give them the links of a person who can help them with their problems, instead of giving them like drugs or for their suicidal purposes. Plus, with the help of this AI/ML and this chatbot application, you can set up many more things, like you can generate leads also. You don't need to have extra people for that. You can have multiple chatbot application. So these are the capabilities that we have come up with for this client. Second, we have developed one more product, which is just nothing but a chatbot widget, which can be integrated in any website. You just need to add the widget, and that's it. Like after a couple of steps, your chatbot application will be live on your website. In there also, you can change the color, everything you can do. Like you can set the tone, you can create multiple portfolio, you can see like how many conversion has been taken place by the chatbot. So there are lots of things can be done in this chatbot application. And yeah, so that's it from my end.
Thank you very much, Hardik, for your presentation, and thanks everyone for presenting these topics. We will go to the question actually, and we will start by a question to Davidas. Is it possible or common practice to develop an MVP application together with your users?
Together with your users, right?
So are users involved in a way for building the MVP?
they can be involved, right? And I would call those users probably your to be early adopters, right? So you have to have a circle of people probably that will be willing to try things out, that you can do polling with. You can check some things like what would they like and not. As I mentioned, right, in my presentation, audience is key, because these will be the people that will be using your app. But then the key thing is, not to make assumptions, to make research first, and not to just use a circle of your friends. You have to be sure that the people that you will be creating the application with, the future users, right, will actually be the users. That group of people will be representative of your future user base. Because otherwise, you might create an app that works in your bubble, let's say in your personal bubble amongst your friends, like Marius mentioned with the bar app, right? And it sounds like a good idea, but then when it hits the market, it sometimes fails, because the larger population is often very different from, let's say, just your own personal bubble. Have I answered?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so this second question is for Marius. So if you are working with a startup and they have trouble choosing between a mobile or a web-based application, do you believe it's better for them to wait and make a decision, or better to try platforms like WordPress that already exist and scale from there?
Okay, thank you for question. If I were in their shoes, I would choose to do maybe simple websites at first, because then you will get traction and some customers based on the customers' requirements. You may find based on the you can check how many users are coming through a website or through a mobile, and based on that you can decide whether you need an app or not, because it depends on what startup is building. For example, if it's building some admin tool, which will be mostly used by computer, it's no need to build an app. But if it's a tool where every working is going outside and needs to fill some data and information, the app is a better choice then. So it depends based on the customer needs.
Thank you, Marius. Yeah.
And this last question is for Hardik. If you had one tip to give to someone who is building their very first mobile application, what tip would you give them?
Sure. So before building such kind of application, we must to understand like what is the business requirement here, like for what purpose we want to develop this chatbot application or AI-based application. So that would be the first step we should consider, like before we start developing any project, like whether it is using AI or for any technology. So resource gathering is the first step. Then what outcome they want to have from this particular AI-based software application. That is the second thing that we need to consider. And then as other people are also developing the MVP version, so we can also start with developing the MVP version here. And then after looking from the user feedback, we can go into full-fledged application for that.
Thank you so much, Hardik, for that. Med det sagt så är det faktiskt dags att börja avsluta det här webbinariumet. Vi hoppas att ni har haft en lärorik stund och att ni känner er lite mer förberedda inför era fortsatta apputvecklingsplaner. Tack för att ni har tagit er tid att komma hit, och an extra thank you to all our partners who have taken from their valuable time and come and made this webinar into what it was. Om ni som lyssnar har frågor eller funderingar som har väckts utav det här webbinariumet, eller ni har tankar om era fortsatta apputvecklingsplaner, tveka inte att höra av er. Ni hittar kontaktuppgifter till oss på omania.se. Med det sagt så vill jag önska alla er en glad sommar och hoppas på att vi syns igen i framtiden.